السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا ومرحبا بكم في المؤتمر والمعرض الدولي للطحالب في يومه الثاني، الذي يعقد بالتزامن مع المعرض السعودي الدولي للثروة السمكية تحت رعاية كريمة من سمو سيدي صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير سعود بن نايف بن عبد العزيز أمير المنطقة الشرقية، وبإشراف من وزارة البيئة والمياه والزراعة، ممثلة في البرنامج الوطني لتطوير قطاع الثروة الحيوانية والسمكية. الطحالب ثروة طبيعية لمستقبل أخضر. Welcome to the second day of this conference. Please note that simultaneous interpretation headsets are available at the entrance of this hall. Our first speech will be in Arabic. سيتحدث لنا بعد قليل الدكتور أحمد المزروعي، وهو كبير مسؤولي مصايد الاسماك وتربية الاحياء المائية في FAORNE والسكرتير التنفيذي لRECOFI منظمة الاغذية والزراعة للامم المتحدة FAO. سيتحدث لنا عن التعاون الدولي من اجل تحقيق اهداف مبادرة التحول الازرق لمنظمة FAO من خلال ثقافة وتسويق الطحالب. رحبوا معي بالدكتور أحمد المزروعي.
Thank you very much. I think I will present in English, so thank you very much for saying that. I'm very delighted, first of all, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Honored and delighted to participate in this important conference. Thanks very much for the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture of Saudi Arabia for organizing this important event, conference and exhibition, and also inviting me and all of us to take part of this important conference. My presentation will be an international collaboration towards achieving the FAO Blue Transformation goals through the culture and commercialization of algae. I will try to be quick, and I'll drop these. What is algae? We all know, play very important roles in the aquatic ecosystem. There are various benefits of algae. Among these, food and nutrition, and we have seen these in details yesterday as well, healthy diets for the coastal communities and common food additive, and especially in the Eastern Asia. They generate income, livelihoods, and social benefits. Algae also have environmental and ecosystem benefits. Cultivation doesn't need land. You can cultivate it in marine or in fresh water. And you don't need to use fertilizers. So they can be even cultivated in deserts. So that adds value to the cultivation of these organisms. Photosynthetic process is important because it absorbs CO2, and by that it in fact mitigate the eutrophication, treat wastewater, reduce ocean acidification by increasing the pH, and carbon capture as well. Habitat provisions, because it provides shelter and provides food for some important organisms. Shoreline protection, because these macroalgae, when they lay on the beach, they absorb the waves, and that's why they protect the coastal area. Algae as well, they provide benefit to aquaculture. In fact, with the issues that the public awareness or the public information or the defensive information from the environments, that aquaculture, in fact, is not friendly to the environment. But cultivating seaweeds, in fact, gives the other message. So that's why it's very beneficial, in addition to the feed to the most important species like abalone and others. And there are other utilization. In fact, we have seen these yesterday in the presentation. Let me go to this one quickly. The production from aquaculture. We see the data from 1990 to 2019. Within 30 years, the production of aquaculture increased from about 20 million tons in 1992 to about 120 million tons in 2019. So within 30 years, we have seen 5 or 6 folds increase in aquaculture. In 2019, one third or 30% of the production that is generated by algae. Although it is very low value commodities, but still it's contribute. It equivalent to 5.4% of the 275 billion US dollars of the world production of aquaculture. And that is almost like 15 billion US dollars. So although the percentage is small, but still it's considerable amount of money. Here the story of cultivation, algae in general, we're starting from 1950 towards 2019. We started, the curve started evenly distributed from 1950 towards 1990, where we relied mainly on the cultivation from the natural. But then aquaculture started to be significant producing algae, and we see this huge increase from 1990 towards 2019. In general, the aquaculture production increased by 1,000 times from 1950 to 1990, from 34.7 thousand tons to 34.7 million tons in 2019. The majority produced coming from Asia. Asia produced 98% of the total, the global production, from both the macro and micro algae. And the leading country producer is China. China produced itself about 57% of the total production in the world. Indonesia comes a second, although it is half of what is produced by China, but it's still very considerable, 28% of the total or the global production. And then the rest of the world, significant, especially in the microalgae. And we see the leading countries are the Asian countries. Again, that is for the 54 countries, the table in the right side. The 54 countries that produce these, generally they produce either from aquaculture or from the natural harvest. But the left side table represent the countries that used to produce in 1950. We don't see in this one China, we don't see Indonesia. That is why in 1990 the aquaculture started to increase and produce dramatically. Here we can see Morocco, still Morocco there in the right side, but probably the aquaculture is not introduced strongly in some of these countries. Here I cannot see this very much. Yeah, the global total fisheries and aquaculture production in 2022, the total number of production, we reach the latest data, 218.4 total production, and that is a new record. 182 million tons of aquatic animals and 36.3 million tons of algae. The 35.2 from aquaculture, 1.1 from the natural harvest. We can see what is significant here. There is more reduction in 2020 data or the numbers, especially in the captured fisheries. And that reduction due to, in fact, to the pandemic, there is more reduction. But here we can see, again, I'm showing here 218.4. The total production is increased, new record. Animal production totally increasing. The capture fisheries as well increasing. Aquaculture increasing. And algae protection increased 36.3 metric tons. Sorry, I think there is a typo. It's 96.9 from aquaculture. It's not 66. Why algae are important globally? The first point need to be highlighted, the increase in the world population. The figures or the estimation between 210 to 250, the estimation that the world population will be increased by 43%. We need, with this increase, we need about 60% more food. And we need to increase the food while we have food gap about 56%. We also have gap in the land availability for aquaculture. So that's a big challenge. In addition, if we add the climate change impact, then we need to pay attention to anything. We need to increase the production. We need to diversify. We need to produce food from algae, from anywhere. The imbalanced production and consumption across the geographical region globally, that also we look at it as a potential to increase and to have a better production and probably better consumption in the other region or another world. So that opens a potentiality to increase and to try to satisfy the need. Yes. For that, FAO has a strategy framework, 220 to 231, 4 betters. Better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life, supporting the SDGs 2030 for sustainable development through transformation to more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable agri-food system for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life, leaving no one behind. That is the FAO strategies in the 2022 to 2030. These are the key areas to address each one of these betters. So I'm not going to go through all these, but these are key areas. The blue transformation is a vision of the aquatic food system in FAO. It's a roadmap, 2022 to 2030. And blue transformation is a vision, FAO work on aquatic system, for the transformation of aquatic food system to be better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life for all. It aims also well to satisfy the biggest and the increasing demand of aquatic food to feed the world. It's also recognized, as I mentioned, the SDGs 2030 agenda. It has 3 core objectives. The first one is feeding the world through aquaculture intensification. And third one is transforming fisheries through better management. And the third one is improving fish value chain efficiency, viability, and inclusiveness. Here, we understand that the captured fisheries will not allow us to increase the food. There will be a limitation. What we need for captured fish is better management. We need traceability. We need to do equity and balance and traceability and good management. Aquaculture has probably the answer. We can increase more food from aquaculture. And the aim probably to reach 35% increase by 2030. The value chain is important and it satisfies both. We need to, in fact, to trace the product from fisheries for the proper management. We need the traceability as well for aquaculture. In fact, to know these are coming from genuine, from the quality assurance issues considered in the production of aquaculture, and also biosecurity and other issues that is important when we produce and we transfer or export the product from aquaculture. Yes, here are the same, these are the components to satisfy each one of those, the core objectives. And the first one, there are priority areas, and that is the outcomes. I mentioned 35, it's between 30 to 45. 35 is reasonable production from aquaculture by 2030, And these are the key areas: innovation in a feed degree, ingredients and technology, genetic improvement, biosecurity and disease control, digital technology, and so on. For the second one, for fisheries, better management, we have to highlight on these important areas: better data collection, data limited stock assessment, management plans, capacity limited plans, access rights, and subsidies use, subsistence use, innovation, climate change mitigation, adaptation, integration, and good management, fighting IUU. All these important aspects to be addressed towards a better management. The outcomes is to restore fish stock to a level capable of producing maximum sustainable yield. The third area is upgrading innovative and fish value chain, and these are the key important areas. Probably the time is limited, so I'm not going to go through these. The role of FAO to promote algae development in the world. These are some of the important points that need to be highlighted in this regard. FAO is the source of knowledge and information. I have shown you the data and the information. FAO has a bigger picture. FAO can assist countries and can work with countries, with regions, to promote the cultivation and increase the production from algae and from other resources. So FAO has that is important aspect to be addressed. Second is FAO has conducted various projects that were either focused on algae or included seaweed and algae development as a component. FAO has also disseminated number of information products on algae, and that is so many of them, the time is limited to highlight all of them. Biosecurity on cultivation of algae. FAO assists and established progressive risk-based and collaborative management framework for seaweed, for algae, farming, biosecurity at enterprises, national and international levels. Food safety is important in algae production. These organisms, they absorb minerals. Some of these minerals are important for our life. We need them, but we need them to a certain level. But also they can have some toxic materials, and that need to be addressed and to be considered. And other issues like also bacteria and disease probably, that is important. And FAO has a capacity. FAO can work on a global level to satisfy the needs and the promotion. There are other potential areas that need to be highlighted and more for the future activities, such as developing practical manuals on seaweeds, aquaculture, more effort to facilitate capacity building in certain areas, such as farming system and technology, genetic improvement, disease control. Promote market development. We have heard a lot, but we need more information on the market and marketability of these important. It's not a point of producing, but you need to have the market of your production. Facilitating collaborating cooperation among members to strengthen governance for sustainable algae sector development. That is also another important aspect need to be addressed in the future. Finally, I would like to highlight there is a good work that's going on, and I appreciate my colleagues here in FAO Saudi Arabia who gave me this. There is a technical cooperation project between Saudi Arabia and the FAO to strengthen the capacity to implement sustainable rural agricultural development program. The objective is to facilitate the development of seaweed small-scale aquaculture production in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Some of the expected results out of this project will be potential areas for sustainable development of seaweeds. Small-scale producer organized, trained, and grouped in several pilot projects, and support and orientation in processing and trading of seaweed products locally and internationally. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll conclude. Thank you. Thank you so much for your attention, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a couple of minutes from now, we're starting session 2, Algae Cultivation and Processing Technologies.